Um, Welcome to Draft Utopia. Chris Ransom, William Yanish, Joseph Potter. In this edition of Draft Utopia, you will get only the middle linebacker rankings. In the second hour, we will have all the other content, including the MLS Draft Simulator, Jacob Fowler's NHL debut, 2 blockbuster NHL trades, and NFL Week 15. So we'll have all of that in the second stream. But in this stream, we will focus strictly on the middle linebackers. I've got 20 on my big board. This is a breather compared to last few weeks, Joey. So I hope you're happy that this is a little bit more condensed compared to previous weeks.
I'm happy that we're not going to talk about me giving birth. So that's that's going to be a great thing because I have never done it. And breathing is going to cause it.
Yeah, but you keep talking about how old you were in these past episodes, and I'm
only time he did that guys. The only time Joey did that was on the 13th anniversary of Draft Utopia. I don't think he's done that since, William, in his defense. But let's get to the middle line.
No, but like for real, man, like.
My birthday's coming up. I have a right to feel a little bit older than I normally feel.
Coming up too.
Okay.
I mean, my birthday's going to be on January 10th. We're actually going to have a podcast on January 10th. This will be the first.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that I am older than you. I'm pretty sure that I'm older than you. And
really?
I have been to a Lamar class.
We got to talk about Anthony Hill Jr.
Okay. Anthony Hill Jr. Hey, man, we're having
some we'll finish this off here.
You don't want to hear some banter. I mean, okay, Anthony Hill.
It's not that I don't want to hear banter. It's like you can banter when you're on the clock in the MLS draft. You're each going to have 4 minutes.
We are.
You can banter then. Right now, I want to knock this out.
What if we don't want to banter then, though?
Well,
that's a good point.
That is a convincing point, but it's like we got all this stuff we got to do. It's like I got stuff I got to do as well.
I said Anthony Hill like I don't know how long ago, and we're still talking about this.
Anthony Hill Jr. is the top middle linebacker in the draft. I think he's got the highest ceiling. I don't know why people have moved him behind Arvell Reese. I still believe Hill's ceiling's higher. The coverage is there. The run stuff is there.
Very much, man.
Everything with Austin Romaine and Anthony Hill Jr. are the 2 most complete middle linebackers in this draft. And I still stand by what I said.
Austin Romaine and Anthony Hill Jr. Give me 2 thumbs up for both of them, man. I like both of those linebackers. And then putting some other guy over the top of them, no. That's not going to work, dude.
The reason they put Arvell over Hill is because you're looking at Ohio State's defense as potentially the greatest college defense of all time. So you're looking at one of the leaders of one of the greatest defenses of all time. And some people are looking at like, he led that. So we got to boost him up. Now, is he a better prospect? No. But some people are going to boost him up based on what is around him. And what he is.
It's brand recognition. Ohio State and Alabama have the 2 best brands in terms of brand recognition over the past 5 years. That's the other
when you're at a level that they're at right now, then you're going to get boosted up so much higher than even you normally would based on the fact that you're on Ohio State. You're going to get boosted up.
Okay.
Because right now, I would say Ohio State is one of the top 32 defenses in all football, not just college football.
Yeah, but why are they getting boosted up? Are they getting boosted up just because of hype, just to have somebody to compete with?
I don't think it's just hype and brand recognition, William. I think the other part of it is we'll get to the number 3 middle linebacker in a second. Reese is 4, but the number 3 linebacker on our rankings is C.J. Allen, the Georgia middle linebacker. He came in at 3, and Reese came in at 4.
There's always a Georgia. There's always a Georgia.
Matt Patricia has been revolutionary in his first year at Ohio State.
There's always a Georgia middle linebacker up there. This goes all the way back.
Roquan Smith in 2018, or does it go back further than that?
No, it goes back. There's a couple names behind there. What's his name? Plays for the Eagles. N'Kobe Dean.
He was in 2022. He was
but
he was the successor of Smith, but yeah.
His problem was that he used his athleticism because he was often wrong on with his instincts on which way to go. So he'd step the wrong way, and then he'd realize the play was going the other way, and he'd use his athleticism to catch up. And that's usually a lot of these Georgia middle linebackers are kind of like that. These guys are all athletes, but you have to find one that's smart, man. And I mean, so many of them aren't.
CJ Allen, that's the guy, Georgia middle linebacker. But yeah, Allen is at number 3 for me. Him and Arvell Reese tied. I could have gone with Reese at 3 due to brand recognition, but I went with Allen. Now, if Reese takes Ohio State further in the playoff than Georgia, I probably will move him ahead of Allen as the process continues to play itself out. And here's the other thing. Austin Romaine might go back to Kansas State. And if he does, a second linebacker will be picked in the first round after Hill, whether it's Allen or Reese. One of those two will get bumped up to Romaine's spot if he chooses to go back to Kansas State.
Well, Chris, I think you brought up a good point. That Matt Patricia's defense may have catapulted this entire Ohio State team far higher than they normally would have been. So I think that's a big part of it that, a lot of people are overlooking.
Yeah, because Downs is really the only player I have a true legitimate first-round grade on. I've got a second on Styles and a second on Reese, but Patricia, being the defensive coordinator, I think that has boosted the stock of some of the guys in Ohio State's defense this year, mainly the linebackers.
Seems like everybody has some linebackers this year. Texas Tech, Texas, Ohio State, all of them, Georgia.
Yep. The next team that has a linebacker is a group of 5 team. It's a MAC team, but Red Murdoch out of Buffalo, I have a 93 for potential on him. He's tied with Reese and Allen for ceiling. And yeah, I've got a second-round grade on him, as hard as that is to believe.
I like it.
And he's already accepted an invite to the East-West Shrine Bowl. So Red Murdoch, because remember, they had Sean Dolak last year, who I really liked. He was an undrafted free agent on the Rams who's had a moderate level of success as a rookie. And I would argue that Red Murdoch has a chance to be better than Dolak. So I'm really high on Murdoch, and I do have a second-round grade on Murdoch.
I do like that.
Have any of you guys seen...
The thing with Buffalo is Buffalo always has a linebacker or a pass rusher or somebody that comes out and is elite to some point. And, this is just the long line of them being able to develop that linebacker that is potentially elite. I mean, at least at the college level. I mean, they are very good at developing that guy.
Yep. He had 156 tackles last year, and I'm looking at I'm actually pulling up the film of Red Murdoch versus Missouri right now. I'll take you through a few plays. The next middle linebacker is Jason Henderson from Old Dominion. He moved from outside linebacker to middle linebacker this year on Old Dominion. I've got a third on him, but it does feel like after Murdoch, there is sort of a drop-off in the star power. You could argue even after Reese, the drop-off begins if you're not as high on Murdoch as I am. But I'm watching him against Ahmad Hardy. No, this is Minnesota. I thought this was Missouri. This is Minnesota. But still, Murdoch's making a lot of key tackles, brings down the running back, brings down the tight end, has not missed a tackle yet in the first quarter. I don't think this is play-by-play film. This is just a highlight reel. Everybody's going to look good on a highlight reel.
Well, yeah, and that's a fact. And this guy isn't the biggest guy. 6'1", 225. When he gets to the combine, that 6'1" will turn into 6 foot, or less. And so, I mean, and like you said, everyone looks good on a highlight reel. It's like, let me dive into the film and then see how.
And what's strange is YouTube used to have game film of football players all the time. But a lot of the content creators, they felt like they weren't getting compensated enough. They'd rather pay for all 22. So you're seeing less content creators post game film of actual. You'll have people upload full games on YouTube, but you won't have people upload game film, individual game film anymore. The landscape's changed. I think there's more highlights of players than there is actual game film on YouTube now, Joey. The landscape has.
Yeah, I agree. It's you have to look for game film, but William, to your point, is like who's the Alabama quarterback that was drafted number 1 to Carolina,
right?
Who stood beside somebody. Yeah, they were saying he's 5'10", he's 5'11". It turns out he's like 5'8.5".
I mean, sometimes it's flat out lie. It's just one of those things, I mean, but. It shows, Bryce Young is
if he beats New Orleans in New Orleans and he beats Tampa Bay next week, he wins the division. You guys can keep roasting Bryce Young, but it's like if he wins the next 2 games, he hosts a playoff game. Even if you think
come on. I gave him a chance to compete in the league, I mean, is that not good enough? I mean,
if he wins the division, he's going to get like $60 million a year. He's going to get that, even though he doesn't still got the body of
a 15-year-old boy, dude.
He's going to get that, even though you can argue he doesn't deserve it. But he's going to get that. That's just the nature of the league now with the contracts.
Yeah, I'll leave all that to you, bro, and see what happens out on the field. Does he win? We'll see what happens. And see if somebody's not clamoring for the backup quarterback. Most popular guy on the team.
Well, I mean,
hey, don't worry. The Browns won with PJ Walker. I mean, PJ, he's got that $60 million coming. After he gets off practice squad.
Wow.
He's not even on the Pants. They have Hendon Hooker ahead of him on their practice squad. So,
man,
I hate to be the bearer of bad.
I thought PJ was in the Canadian League. I thought he was in the Canadian League now.
Yeah, no. Kyle Allen took his job, and Hendon Hooker took a trip somewhere. Not quite sure where, but. It was away from there. I always liked Kyle Allen. He's actually the reason.
I didn't know Jason Henderson. I thought Jason Henderson played all of this season, but it says he started the in-season opener against Indiana, then he stepped away from football due to an injury. So this will be his second season with a season-ending injury after 1 game. So even though Jason Henderson has huge upside, he may not get drafted simply due to the fact that he only played 1 game. One game the last 2 seasons.
Like Sean Lee, all this potential, but never really gets up there. And how big is he? About 6'1", about 225.
Yeah.
Like Sean Lee.
If the medicals are serious, he might not even get drafted because 1 start in each of the last 2 seasons, and then he steps away from the team this year, season-ending injury last year. I know I have a 3rd-round grade on him because of his upside, but he can't stay healthy, unfortunately. And that's
no good, man.
That is it. So someone who has a 4th round grade is going to get pushed into the 3rd round. So really, after Murdoch, there is a massive drop off in the middle linebackers. I still think
bet he becomes a coach.
I agree. That's probably what happens
when he retires. I promise you, whenever that be. Not saying it's going to be anytime soon, but afterwards, I bet he turns into a coach.
And this is something that Chris and I have been talking about for years. It's like we talk about these guys, and it's like, man, he could be one of the top 5 players of his position in the league if he stays healthy. And you know what happens?
Dan Morgan.
They don't stay healthy.
Dan Morgan.
That's a very good example. You know, top 5 player in his position when he was healthy, but how often was he healthy?
And who was he a GM with?
Only 2 4th round middle linebackers. We're going to start with Bryce Bottinger of Oregon, though. Oregon's Bryce Bottinger, one of the better middle linebackers in this draft, could potentially move up into round 3 if Henderson's medicals are bad.
I love him.
And they don't look very good. Only 1 start each of the last 2 seasons. That's enough to take him off of draft boards of half the teams in the league, maybe 20 teams in the league. So you're looking at 12 teams looking at him. And I'd say only 2 of those would consider him in round 3. And the key words consider. Tom Brady had a 3rd round grade by the Patriots. They didn't pick him till round 6. So the key word is consider. Right. Consider does not mean you'll be selected. It means you're in the running to be selected. So there's a very big distinction when teams throw out the word consider.
Okay.
But yeah, Bryce Bottinger, the Oregon middle linebacker, is next on the list.
Danny Lanning, middle linebacker. Come on now.
And I know Joey's roasted some players that have gone to Oregon, but, you know, Jamari Caldwell had the forced fumble against the Eagles, and Troy Reed, the other former Oregon guy before Lanning arrived, also recovered the fumble.
I will give the Oregon guys a little bit of credit this year because I have been watching more Oregon lately, and I think the prospects for Oregon this year are worlds better than the Oregon guys from years past. So I will give them a little bit of credit.
Yes, because I think the last good Oregon defensive lineman was it Haloti Ngata, and then it's maybe Caldwell this year, and then I don't know the rest of the other. Bryce Bottinger, 6'2", 232.
Look, years past, if you're not a tight end for Oregon in years past, you're a bust. This year, I think there's at least a little bit of an opportunity. So, you know, that's a definite improvement.
Okay, so sure, 39 solo tackles, 64 assisted, 103 total tackles, which is an improvement from his 94 last year. So, and he went from 4. He's known for his tackling, and yeah, he went off against James Madison next week, Bryce Botcher. So that's a guy. I think he's the only guy in this group outside of Romaine with 100 tackle. Bottinger, Bryce Botcher of Oregon. So I've got a 4th on Botcher, but if Henderson's medicals are bad, Botcher could jump him. Next up, the other 4th round guy is Whit Weeks, LSU middle linebacker, the guy who got caught with the guy who made his relationship status with Lane Kiffin's daughter public. Whit Weeks, LSU middle linebacker. So I heard he's entering the portal. He may not enter the draft, but he is draft eligible. I'm hearing he might enter the portal, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. You know, he's only 20 years old, so he's got a number of things he can do, you know, and in this land of nil and everything else, you know, I mean, He can do whatever he wants. He can go be king of some school somewhere.
Yeah, because LSU's got Aaron Anderson, Braylon Moore, the center, and Whit Weeks, three juniors, and those are the three they're looking at. Are they going to declare or are they going to turn pro?
Who flashes the money in front of them? I mean, they can make more money in college, and they can play around. Like I said, go be king somewhere for a minute. So
apparently,
that's just what I see happening.
Let's be honest. As long as he's with Lane Kiffin's daughter, he's basically going to be the Tommy Reese to Nick Saban when it comes to football players and the college game. It's like, oh, here's a recommendation. Here's a recommendation. Here's a recommendation. Everybody gets a recommendation because you have a relationship with the right person. Or in this case, the right girl.
I've got an update from Jockeys Doucette. He's a sports director for a news station in Louisiana. Nussmeier, Mansour Delane, the corner, who we're going to talk about next week, and Whit Weeks are all opting out of LSU's bowl game. That means they're all turning pro this year. That's basically what that means.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
That's a big thing. Yeah, so do I. That's huge.
So
that is
very revealing information.
Now I've got a target
on X
fantasy
just
league.
a few minutes ago. That's very revealing information, Joey, because that pretty much tells us those guys are focused on the NFL and the combine, the all-star game, whether it's the Senior Bowl or whatever, training for that. That pretty much tells us what we needed to know.
Yeah, because that's something that I've been following. I've been waiting on for a lot of these guys because there are a lot of guys that haven't made their declaration, and this is the first that we're seeing. Hey, we know what's happening.
Well, LSU, did whatever they did with them, so they just said up yours and bye-bye.
Very true, and they're not Michigan. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get an exodus from Michigan, whether it's the draft or the portal.
Yeah.
Yep. And then there's only one fifth-round linebacker. It's Drake Bowen, Notre Dame middle linebacker. That is the only fifth-round linebacker that we have. And, Notre Dame, they got screwed out of the playoff. I'm not sure what else I could say about them because they opted out of the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Georgia Tech replaced them.
Well, they lost to Miami. I mean, week one.
They started 0-2. They lost to Miami and they lost to Texas Tech. Head-to-head was the last tiebreaker, so unfortunately they got screwed. It happens. It's part of sports.
So what?
If you start 0-2, I mean,
don't be sore losers. Do not be sore losers, and let these kids that some of them it's going to be their last game ever. Or, it's another game where someone could show out for scouts,
And Notre Dame has a clause in their contract.
Every
if they
down
finish
that
in
you
the top
can get,
12
man.
next year, they get an automatic spot in the playoff, like a group of 5 team. So
what
they
is
have
that,
a clause, so you don't really have the right to bitch about being screwed if you've got that clause working in your favor.
They obviously saw it coming. Maybe they should have got it for this time. They obviously didn't. Okay, they saw it coming because otherwise it wouldn't be in the contract. And I mean, isn't that just obvious? I mean,
yes, it's very obvious.
You saw it coming, but you're gonna bitch and drop out like little punks.
But don't worry, they're gonna blame Brian Kelly for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got 2 sixth-round middle linebackers, TJ Quinn out of Louisville and Wade Woodaz out of Clemson. And Woodaz has more versatility, but Quinn has the higher ceiling of the two. But those are the 2 sixth-round middle linebackers in this draft. And Louisville, they've done a good job producing middle linebackers in previous years. Quinn is from Val, Georgia, 6'1", 235. Sammy Brown both rotate middle linebacker and outside linebacker on Clemson's defense. And 87 total tackles
find that
from
a
TJ
lot
Quinn
of college
on
defenses.
Louisville. 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, 4 deflections from pass breakups. Very good in cover. Gets the quarterback. Not a great for. Needs to add more muscle. Quinn, there's a reason why he's looked at. I do think he's potential to develop into a starter, but at the same token, he's very raw. Started out as a depth player.
Yeah.
And then Wade Wadaz, middle linebacker, is a 70 tackles, 43 solo, 70 tackles, half a sack, no deflection, 3 deflections, no interceptions. He did better in 2024 versus 2023. I hope he plays in the Pinstripe Bowl against Penn State.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with him being on the bubble of being drafted, he kind of owes it to himself. Game. Like if you're a senior and you're a sixth, you have to play in your bowl game. Because if you don't, you're going to go undrafted.
Yeah.
You risk going undrafted.
And it's another one of the things like Notre Dame, you know, some of these players, I mean, could be like this right here. Every down matters. You know, let them get in there and play. Don't, you know. So this is just case in point with that.
I always bring up, because I still to this day feel it's prudent, that at the time Baker Mayfield was looked at as a first-round pick. He had personal stuff going on. He went to all the camps. He went to the combine, even though it was just to make an appearance.
Yeah.
For that, and it parlayed itself into the number 1 overall pick. I mean, if you do everything right and you show up and you get the games under your belt, right there, you can go from a mid-first round pick
Jones was
to the number 1 overall pick.
He entered the bowl game with like a 2nd or 3rd round grade because he had a game where he threw 4 interceptions against Temple of all teams. He had a game where he threw like 4 interceptions or 5 interceptions at Duke, and it was against Temple of all teams. He still went to the draft because he aced every part of the draft process.
This is why you don't like Daniel Jones.
Pro day. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is a good NFL quarterback because he aced every
Daniel
part
Jones
of the pre-draft
is a good NFL quarterback. Daniel Jones is a good NFL quarterback, and I told
I don't like Daniel Jones for
what
this
was going
reason.
to happen this last year, Chris, and that's why when my draft board in our fantasy league, you snagged Herbert right before I was going to snag him as my second quarterback. I just kept with my draft board, and then I drafted JSN and blah 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 blah. You know, and
so
I went down the line and knew that I could get Daniel Jones down there, and then I started talking shit when I snagged Daniel Jones, and then all of a sudden he was, you know, top 3. He was number 1 quarterback for a minute. Yeah, and Daniel Jones is a good NFL quarterback.
I will say I don't like Daniel Jones for different reasons, and Chris doesn't like him because I've seen him play live twice, and he is the only quarterback I've ever seen to have a wide open pocket, and I've seen it live, and then he throws the ball in the dirt 3 feet in front of an open receiver with a clean pocket. He just line drives that shit straight down. I'm like, that takes some special talent to do something that bloody stupid. Oh yeah, it was at the Jags game a couple years ago. It was just like he just carried that thing.
Because now I have Chris's first round pick and my first round pick, which are number 3 and number 4 in the league.
Well, you better use it wisely. I gave you my 2026 picks hoping to load up in 2027.
Yeah,
that was my thought process. I wanted to try to double my odds at getting Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams.
But see, so I built mine to actually succeed after a couple years, nail a few more draft picks, you know, because so then I can make myself look good as an analyst, you know, and I mean, you know, just
that's good. That's good. Back. You want to do that.
But, you know, yeah.
We got 9 7th-round middle linebackers.
Ooh.
Probably only half of them are going to get picked, if I'm being honest. But
all right.
9 7th-round middle linebackers. I'm going to start with Ben Roberts of Texas Tech. I think he's the best of this group. Ben Roberts, Texas Tech middle linebacker. Texas Tech's got an incredible defense this year.
They do.
And then after Ben Roberts, next guy up on the list is Caden Fordham of North Carolina State. Fordham's interesting because I think Caden Fordham's interesting because I think, Fordham, he's a junior redshirt, a graduate student. He went to the Bulls High School in Jacksonville, 56 solo tackles, 74 assisted. Fordham has 130 tackles. He's picked up right where Peyton Wilson's left off a few years ago. So, and looking
I'm right with you there on this one because I'm not huge on many of these linebackers after the first couple rounds, but this one is interesting. He has me intrigued.
He had 130 tackles this year, and he had 10 or more tackles in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Had 8 games with 10 or more tackles. Had 10 games with 8 or more tackles. 9 games with 9 or more tackles. So very consistent.
Yeah, but that's why it has me intrigued because he's not amazing at anything, but he's kind of good at everything. So he may go earlier, but he's also really athletic. So, it's a different sort of good player, but I'm not sure where you would put him. I'm pretty sure he's going to get drafted. That I'm pretty sure about, but you have him in the 7th round. I could see a player like that because at the very least he's going to be an ace on special teams.
Yeah.
And, 5th, 6th round might be in his range.
After Murdoch, this thing's wide open because right now my only 3rd round middle linebacker is Henderson. He's only played 1 game each of the last 2 seasons. So more than likely somebody will jump him before this is over. Bottinger, Weeks are both positioned to jump him, but the dark horse to jump him might be Caden Fordham. Just saying. He might be the dark horse to jump him. And then we've got Jay Sean Barham, Michigan linebacker, 21 years old. I believe he's a junior. He was the guy who headbutted the official in the Michigan-Ohio State game.
Nice guy.
Yeah, Barham. This was the guy who headbutted the official. Only 32 tackles this year, 4 sacks.
Give me the ball.
I really don't see him doing anything else outside of being like a pass rushing specialist on 3rd down, maybe, as a backup middle linebacker. I really don't, because the production's just not there. Good size, though, at 6'3", 248.
Agreed.
He could be your version of Bill Lambier, just start clotheslining people and headbutting officials.
Yeah.
Or, Bates off of the replacements. Give me the ball. I got the ball.
One of my favorite movies, so very good reference. Thank you.
The next guy on this list is another group of 5 middle linebacker from the MAC. Central Michigan's Jordan Kwiatkowski. 105 total tackles, 48 solo, 57 assisted, 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles.
Fine Polish name.
3 interceptions as well, in addition to the forced fumbles. And he's also had 4 deflections, and he did have a pick 6 against Buffalo in their 38-19 win. And again, started the year very rusty. Really didn't pick up until the 6th game of the year, but he's had 9 tackles or more in every game this season from October 4th to the season finale against Toledo. So he's a guy who did get off to a slow start, but then he really picked it up.
Way too low. This is going to be the guy that's going to be taken in the 4th or 5th round. He is just a bona fide playmaker. He is a guy that's just going to make the plays. He's going to strip the ball. He's going to make the tackles. He's going to make the interception. He's going to be everywhere This is way too low for him, dude. You know, you're gonna have to go back and watch because this dude he's a baller. And when it comes to ballers, you got to look in what happens when they start balling.
Yeah, Cam Robinson's ranked after Kwiatkowski, matched his 64 tackles last year, really didn't improve in that category. Jacob Manu, Washington player, former Arizona captain, transferred to Washington. It's disappointing because he had 105 tackles 2 years ago when he was at Arizona. He transferred to Washington, only 47 tackles last year in his first year at Washington, only
Was he
17
injured
this
or
year.
anything? I mean, do you know?
Is my audio malfunctioning again?
I can hear you.
All right.
I don't know what's going on with Joey. I keep telling him TV, and then he comes back on, and the TV's blaring again, and I'm like, anyway.
Is it because you hear noise from his?
I don't know if muted most of the time. But yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Well,
Yeah, but I hear you, Chris.
Okay.
No worries.
Everyone hears each other. That's great. But yeah, Jacob Manu, he regressed this year. I don't know if he's going to get picked. We've only got 3 middle linebackers left. Caleb Elam's-Orr out of TCU. Kyle Efford of Georgia Tech, and Levani Damuni from Utah. Those are the last 3 guys on this list. And yeah, I'm Caleb Elam's-Orr. Wow, Elam's-Orr has clicked his senior year. 119 tackles, 4 sacks, 57 solo, 62 assisted, 2 deflections. But he hasn't been as consistent as Kwiatkowski or Fordham, despite having a strong season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games with 10 or more tackles, but 3 games with 15 tackles. So his numbers are inflated to a degree.
Yeah. But, you know, that's generally you just have to get down to the tape in college. You know, I mean, stats, it's kind of like tight end stats in college. It doesn't really work. You got to get in there.
It's like I say, it's like I've been telling people for years. The stats and the tape have to be congruent with each other. Yes. And what that means is if you have good stats, but your tape sucks, Mitchell Trubisky, don't take the guy. Yeah. If your tape and stats are congruent, Patrick Mahomes, take the guy. Deshaun Kaiser had good college tape, but his stats sucked. But Joey was willing to overlook that in 2017. But now, I don't think we overlook the tape and the stats because both have to be congruent with each other.
Oh, you trying to get me with Mitchell Trubisky? It's like I was raging against the machine there. What are you talking about?
You misheard me, buddy. You misheard me. You had Kaiser as your QB1 in 2017. He had good tape, but his stats sucked. He did not have 3,500 yards. Trubisky, Watson, Mahomes did, but I agreed with you on Trubisky sucking. His tape was awful. This is why I tell you the tape and the stats have to be congruent with each other.
Well, with Kaiser, it wasn't even the stats. With Kaiser, it was his mental makeup. That is one I would say was my bad. I didn't. I was just watching the film. I did not look further into it. The Kaiser was as dumb as a box of rocks.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the stats. It was just that he was what he done. And so that was my fault for not catching the fact that he had an IQ of potato.
Fair enough. Last 2 guys, Kyle Efford and Levani Damuni.
I don't know anything about either of these guys. So
Efford's a Georgia Tech middle linebacker. He's never had 100 tackles, but he's been pretty consistent. 81 as a sophomore, 64, 72 this year. He's a junior redshirt though, so he might go back for 1 more year next year.
Yeah.
Not going to say anything else because
probably should.
Even though the ceiling's high, he's probably going to go back. And Levani Damuni, senior redshirt graduate student. He went from 87 tackles in 2023 to having 37 this year. He missed all of 2024.
That's probably when he got all these studies done.
Season.
That's probably when he got all his studies done, right?
Now, I'm gonna make a bold prediction here, and this doesn't just count toward linebackers, but from what I'm hearing, a lot of these guys that are redshirt sophomores and juniors are going to be going back to school. So we might want to pay closer attention to the upperclassmen, the seniors in this draft, because they might move up after we find out who exactly is going back.
This is why I've sort of waited to create the NFL draft simulator, because I know guys are going to go back with NIL money on the table, with the transfer portal, with all these different factors in play. Certain guys are going to end up going back.
Yeah. Once I heard that Dante Moore of Oregon was considering going back, I was like, whoa, let's take a look at this for all across the board, because if one of the top quarterbacks is looking at going back, let's look at everybody else.
Okay, but Chris just mentioned a guy that was a graduate student that was blah, 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 blah. That guy is done with college. He's not coming back to college. You know, he's going on to the next level now. Whoever past that is however, but I'm just pointing that out.
Well, I'm looking at, if we're late in the draft, I'm taking a graduate student that's a player, because obviously if you're a graduate player, you're pretty darn smart. So you might be somebody who I can look at as somebody who I can put on my coaching staff later on if I draft you. So there are more avenues there.
Oh, well, no. Yeah. I'm saying just as from the other point of view, if I were to draft this guy, hell yeah, this is the guy that I want. The smart guy. That's who I want, you know, and that's exactly who I would pick, because I know that you have that capability of being a coach on the field, you know. Just I mean,
I keep forgetting who was he was a coach on the field. I think he was a safety a few years back for a Super Bowl team. I forget who it was. He was there solely because he was smarter than everybody else.
Yeah. And that's when you get into the Luke Kuechly's of the world and all those guys that are bouncing around, you know, trying to see where they want to go in coaching, because they can go anywhere they want, but they just have to find the right fit. And they have to
agree with that.
Know that they're studying the right subjects, that they're taking it from the right angle, you know, so.
One last piece of news before we get to the MLS Draft Simulator at 11. It's football news, but TJ Parker, the Clemson edge rusher, has accepted a Senior Bowl invite. So he will be playing in Mobile, the projected preseason top 10 edge rusher, because TJ Parker began the year as the number 1 edge rusher in the draft before he got supplanted by Reuben Bain Jr. and David Bailey. So Parker, the Clemson edge rusher, is going to play in the Senior Bowl this year. I think that's a very smart move on his part.
All right. I'll allow it.
All right.
Now, William Yanish, our new head of the Senior Bowl.
Hey, man, I could definitely do that job. Let me tell you, it would be a blast too.
Well, the new head of the Senior Bowl took over for Jim Nagy as a former Cowboys scout.
I was talking to Jim Nagy one time. Cool guy.
Yeah, you told us the story and Under the Bleachers. But Tim Keenan's also accepted a Senior Bowl invite, the Alabama defensive tackle. So it does look like we're starting to get some bigger names on the defensive line.
Chris is like,
Donnie Dennis Sutton, the edge rusher I have first round grade, also accepted. So we are getting some bigger names.
Yes, indeed. I agree. 1,000%, Chris.
and this is something I've been advocating for not only the NFL but the NBA for years. It's like, dude, get these upperclassmen and get them on a higher pedestal because you know you're going to get good stuff.
College showcase. You're getting all the top upperclassmen, top sophomores, top juniors, top seniors, and they're playing against each other in an all-star game. The problem is the college showcase is considered a private event. It's not like anyone can go to it like the Senior Bowl or the NBA Combine with a media pass, and they need to make it public. They need to make the MLS College Showcase public. Otherwise, soccer is going to remain irrelevant compared to the other sports and drafts. If you don't make something like that, which is your Senior Bowl for college soccer players, if you don't make it available to the public, your sport's going to remain irrelevant, or you're going to depend a lot on academy players and international stars. So that's the thing. But yeah, MLS Super Draft, we will load up the simulator for that in the next stream, which will be at the top of the hour. But this is our middle linebacker rank.